Have you ever felt trapped in your own chains? Sometimes, life feels like a silent struggle, a dance with shadows that we struggle to comprehend. Have you ever asked yourself what you fear more, losing control, or never finding freedom? The emptiness you carry, even when surrounded by familiar faces, may echo your inner turmoil. What if that silence you feel is actually the path you've been avoiding? The truth is that the pursuit of control is a trap. You cling to excuses, perhaps the fear of failing, of being tossed into the ocean without a life jacket. But real freedom isn't conquered through battles, it's recognized. By letting go of each expectation, every need to be seen and heard, you draw closer to your true self. There's no victory in fighting against the current when wisdom lies in learning how to swim. What if you looked back and realized that what holds you captive is what you consider protection? It's okay not to know how to let go at this moment. You don't need to have all the answers. This is your time for contemplation, to view life through the gentle lens of acceptance. When you understand that control is merely an illusion, a crack that opens in the calm of your being, you begin to recognize your invisible chains. Remember, it's not the universe that's against you. It's your dependence on what cannot be controlled. Allow yourself to feel this, even if it hurts. Pain is a teacher, not your enemy. Every day, reflect on where you place your focus. Ask yourself, what truly sets me free? Do you really need the applause of others that need to be noticed and loved? Society shouts for happiness and success, but what's going on within you? Try to allow yourself to breathe deeply, and a new clarity may emerge, revealing that everything you seek is already inside you. If you feel lost, perhaps it's time to close your eyes and just listen. Feel the weight of that silence. It is comforting. It wants to tell you something. And in that space of stillness, detachment becomes a light dance, allowing you to flow with life. Free yourself from the identity you thought you needed. You are more than your experiences. You are the space where they occur. Enough. You don't need to carry the weight of control any longer. Embrace uncertainty. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and light. After all, the peace you seek isn't out there, but in each step you take as you free yourself from the bonds. Remember, each time you face your fear and consciously choose to detach, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Today, start. When you wake up, tell yourself, I am free. Feel how this affirmation resonates within you. The world may have its rules, but your essence is freedom. When you finally allow yourself to let go, everything begins to fall into place. Have you ever noticed how life can feel like a raging current, with you trapped in a fragile canoe? The relentless quest for control often turns into a prison, with the key hidden away in a remote corner of your soul. Many times you feel like a spectator in your own life, tense and anxious, trying to keep everything in order. But the truth is, that order is merely an illusion. Imagine this scene. You're surrounded by people, yet you still feel alone. Doubt creeps in. Why doesn't anyone understand me? In that moment, you realize that control isn't the answer. It's the root of the pain that prevents a deeper connection with yourself and others. Freedom, then, isn't about keeping everything under your thumb. It's about letting go, like leaves in the wind. But what if I told you that true peace arises from releasing that weight? When you detach, you create space for what truly matters. Just as a river bends around stones in its path, you too can find your natural flow. Liberating yourself from the demands of control means acknowledging that life shouldn't be a struggle, but a dance. Now you might ask, how can I let go? It starts with accepting that many of your fears, the fear of loneliness, rejection, or failure, aren't truly yours, but stories that have been told to you. So, take a deep breath. This is a silent invitation to see life with fresh eyes. Detachment isn't resignation. It's an act of courage. And what about the wounds you carry? That pain that leaves you feeling exhausted? It's what connects you to beliefs and patterns you no longer need. Enough is enough. You shouldn't have to bear this alone. When you let go, you become lighter. All the rush, the anxiety, the need to control everything around you. It's not a defense, it's an invisible prison. Release those shackles. When the need for control diminishes, space opens up for clarity. And in that clarity, you begin to see beauty in imperfections and uncertainties. Think back to a moment when you allowed things to unfold naturally, when you felt more alive, more connected to what truly matters. Let life flow. And if you don't know where to start, begin today. When you wake up, tell yourself, "Today, I am freedom." As you let go of control, your emotions become allies, not enemies. The silence you fear can be your best advisor. Don't be afraid of that empty space. It is sacred, as it's where your true essence reveals itself. It's the moment when you can listen to what your soul really desires. And what if you allowed yourself not to know everything and just be? That's true freedom. Life happens without your constant oversight. And by letting go, you discover that things can fall into place just as they should. Not necessarily how you want them to. Allow yourself to be light. Allow yourself to breathe. Control is a weight your spirit shouldn't carry. Let it go. Embrace the freedom of detachment and watch the transformation unfold, not just around you, but within you. This is the freedom you deserve. Have you ever felt trapped by what you love? Like a flower unable to bloom, even when nourished by the sunlight. Something deep inside you is screaming to be free, but the fear of loss keeps everything in place. The message echoes. You need to let go in order to grow. Wait. But what if I told you that this liberation isn't a renunciation? It's a surrender to your true self. If you take a moment to pause, you might realize how attachment to things and people cast shadows in your heart. These shadows prevent the light from shining through. Imagine a seed that needs to be planted in the earth, but cannot grow if it remains in the palm of your hand. Each time you try to grip it tighter, what happens? It slowly dies. And those voices that tell you not to let anything go, they are echoes of fear, insisting that what you possess is all that you are. But what if instead, detachment is the key that opens the door to new opportunities? Sometimes, resistance disguises itself as loyalty to the past. What you fear losing feels safer than what it could become. Now imagine that, by releasing what binds you, you clear the canvas of your life. What could be painted there for the first time? Don't be swayed by the notion that letting go will be a disappointment. In fact, it could be a vibrant liberation. When you allow yourself to step out of the bubble of the familiar, a world of possibilities unfolds. This internal journey, this act of letting go, can sometimes feel painful. Have you ever looked at your wounds and wondered if you still need them? No, you aren't weak for allowing yourself to feel. You are preparing to bloom again. Each step back is a potential for rebirth. So what if you looked at what you hold in your hand and said, "You can go"? What space could open up in your life? A space for renewal, growth, and authenticity. It's okay not to know what that will look like. You are human. Breathe. What if the pain you carry is what prevents you from feeling the lightness that comes with surrender? Detachment isn't a weakness, it's an act of empowerment. What do you want to cultivate? What needs to be left behind? Look around. The silence you may find along this path is the gateway to new understanding. Transformation begins when you accept that everything, even your love, can be released. And this can, indeed, pave the way for unexpected beauty. Today, when you wake up, tell yourself, "I am capable of letting go of what no longer serves me." Feel that weight lifting from your shoulders, your arms rising with the dawn. And remember, life can truly flourish in liberation. You are not alone. Have you ever felt lost amid a jumble of thoughts? Like an overflowing river, your mind can become flooded with doubts, obligations, and hidden fears. This mental overload creates a cascade that obscures your vision and your truth. You long for clarity, but the weight of your own chaos makes it hard to see ahead. What if I told you that the path to clarity doesn't lie in accumulating more information, but in emptying everything that weighs you down. The practice of mindfulness becomes a refuge. It is within this sacred space that you begin to loosen the chains that bind your mind. As you sit in silence, allow your thoughts to pass by without clinging to them. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to let go of? Each deep breath can be a release. With every exhale, feel the burden of past emotions drifting away. They're so accustomed to governing you that they forget you are the one in control. Are you exhausted? You have every reason to be. This internal struggle you face is real. Each of us has felt as if we are sinking in a sea of voices, and that sense of emotional solitude. It's the shadow that prevents you from seeing the light, as if no one out there can understand what your soul silently cries out for. But here's something you might not have realized. You are not alone. Many others also seek this clarity. There's a part of your mind that yearns for freedom. When you acknowledge that desire and begin to release the anchors of the past, everything starts to flow more smoothly. Imagine that each thought represents a leaf from a tree. Sometimes the leaves fall, but the trunk remains strong. You are the trunk. Feel that. It is your essence that stays intact, even amidst the falling leaves. So, what remains? What will be left when you stop identifying with the whirlwind in your mind? Allow yourself moments of silence. Try it. When you can let go of the unpredictable struggle, you discover that true clarity emerges from the space you create. This is where your authentic strength resides, not in external battles, but in internal peace. Prepare yourself to let go. In doing so, the truth not only reveals itself, it shines. You don't need approval or guarantees. You are already everything you need to be. And when you finally allow yourself to release, everything begins to fall into place naturally. Take a deep breath. Calm yourself. The silence you've always sought isn't something to fear. It's what you should embrace. Because deep down, you know this journey is yours, and every step you take towards silence is a step toward clarity. You care so much that sometimes it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Every tear from someone else, every forced smile, becomes a burden you feel deep in your chest. But here's the crucial point. This constant giving can cost you more than you realize. It could cost you your sense of self. When we lose ourselves in excessive care, we often forget who we truly are. It's as if we are caught in the middle of a storm, doing our best to keep others afloat, while silently drowning ourselves. Look around you. Have you ever felt this way? Do you remember a time when, in your concern for others' problems, you forgot to ask yourself, and what about me? Am I okay? That lack of self-attention shapes wounds that run deeper than we realize. It's the echo of loneliness that resonates within us, even when we're surrounded by people. And the inevitable question arises, what if what you're missing right now is a connection with yourself? Caring for others isn't a mistake, it's an act of love. But when that care turns into constant worry, authenticity begins to fade away. Crying out for attention, even in silence, is a pain that many carry. Enough. You don't have to be the anchor for every boat. It's healthy to care, but you also need to remember your inner space. The intensity of caring is noble, but what about your inner calm? What happens to the dreams you abandon while prioritizing those of others? Allow yourself to acknowledge. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to simply be. Reflecting on this, perhaps it's time to ask yourself, how much of myself am I sacrificing by invading someone else's space? You put a lot of pressure on yourself, but don't forget that caring for another heart also means keeping your own healthy. What if today you allowed yourself to breathe without carrying another's burden? The weight you bear may not even belong to you. Amidst caring, there's a need for release. A reminder that love should not be a burden, but a relief. Inhale deeply and allow peace to enter your being. You are worthy of it. Attachments carry an invisible weight, don't they? With every memory, with every pain we hold on to, we feel the burden of those connections. Even in a crowd, it's as if we are alone, lost in our own disconnection. Have you ever felt this way? That loneliness screaming amidst laughter and conversation, an absence as painful as any physical wound. Now, think of the eagle. Sometimes it's necessary to lose feathers to fly higher. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to let go of what feels safe? The fear of uncertainty traps us, yet kneeling before this need for control brings no peace. What drives us is the quest for freedom, even if it means leaving the familiar behind. Detachment isn't about renouncing the past. It's about freeing yourself from what no longer serves you. What if what you fear losing is, in fact, the bridge to your true self? When we release the bonds that don't support us, we create space for new connections. Some of these connections are like gentle breezes that caress the soul. Others are strong gusts that propel us to new heights. Allow the pain of the past to transform. As you feel that pain, remember, it can be your ally, not your enemy. Turning it into strength is the first step toward rediscovering the authenticity that resides within you. By now, you may have already realized that what seems like loss is actually a call to evolve. When you decide to detach, you're not rejecting what was. You're choosing to live fully, unchained from yesterday. The process might be difficult, but what if this challenge leads you to a space of peace you've never known? Notice the lightness that emerges when you allow yourself to let go. It's an invitation to look within. What if, instead of feeling lost, you allowed yourself to discover who you really are? In the silence of detachment, you can hear your truth. The pain that accompanies you doesn't have to be a burden. It can be the spark that lights your path. Move forward, even if the journey seems uncertain. Sometimes, the biggest changes come from a bold step into the unknown. Get ready. Freedom is just ahead. With each release, you prepare yourself to receive. Remember, true connection with yourself can be found when you let go. Breathe. And as you let go, ask yourself, what else can you gain on this journey within? The beauty of life arises in the blend of detachment and love. So, embrace the reconstruction of your essence with gratitude for all that has been. Now, with a light heart, move forward. If you're ready to break free, start to see life through new eyes. This is the true connection that unfolds through detachment. Have you ever felt the passage of time as an empty whisper, where moments slip away unfulfilled? The present is a gift, yet we often find ourselves so tied to the past or anxious about the future that we forget to breathe, to truly live. What if I told you that true beauty lies in the small moments, in the silences between words, in the pauses between thoughts? Attachments and fears make us prisoners. The feeling that life can slip through your fingers, consumed by worries, is a pain that resonates within many of us. Conscious presence is the key to breaking free from this lack. In fact, by detaching, you anchor yourself in the now. And in that serene space, life reveals itself in all its fullness. Have you ever thought about how you miss opportunities because of your attachments? When you are preoccupied with what has already passed, or what has yet to come, the present becomes a battleground between your mind and your heart. Do you allow yourself to see the beauty in everyday life? The soft light of dawn, the aroma of coffee, the laughter of a child. Every moment is a chance to delight in simplicity, like a gift slowly unfolding. What comes next can change everything. When you learn to be present, you start to notice harmony in the chaos. It's when you allow yourself to pause and listen to the silence that it transforms into a guide. Imagine dedicating just a few moments of your day to connect with each breath, to feel the weight of your being dissolving into the awareness of now. Often, the feeling of emotional loneliness arises when you need connection the most. But what if the silence you carry is actually the path you've been avoiding? It's your opportunity to be kind to yourself, to embrace vulnerability as part of being human. Nobody can pretend forever. Authenticity finds its space in presence. Remember, True wealth is not something to be conquered, it is something to be recognized. Look around you. Beauty is there, waiting to be noticed. Yes, life can be chaotic, but within that whirlwind, presence is your anchor. Tomorrow, when you wake up, look out the window. Tell yourself, I am capable of living this moment. The journey begins here. Accepting life as it is can seem simple, yet it's one of the deepest struggles you face. You feel a weight on your chest, as if resistance makes each day harder. That pain of not being where you want to be, that feeling of disconnection between you and the world around you. But here's something you might have never realized. Acceptance isn't surrender. It's not giving up. It's the gateway to freedom. Imagine for a moment that the pain you're feeling right now is, in fact, a pathway. A pathway leading to the understanding that the limitations you carry do not define who you are. They are merely routes you travel down. In this silent journey, you may discover that true comfort doesn't come from protecting yourself from pain, but from embracing it. Someone shared with me not long ago, I felt trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. But when I stopped and listened to what my pain was telling me, I found a strength I never knew existed. Have you ever felt this way? When life feels like a constant battle, it can be tough to see that often. The fiercest opposition you face is within yourself. This internal war drains your energy, robs you of peace, and turns small challenges into impossible mountains to climb. So, accepting is an invitation. An invitation to stop fighting against the winds of adversity. Do you remember a moment when you felt there was no more struggle to be had? That calm that comes after surrender, that's a form of liberation. Think about the situations you resist. The friend who doesn't understand, the job that weighs you down, the past that keeps insisting on returning. Instead of fighting, what if you simply looked? What would you see? Sometimes, the answer lies in confronting what you've been avoiding. What if what you fear in acceptance isn't fragility, but the discovery of an external strength? Resistance to pain, in the end, is an invitation to fatigue. What if you allowed that resistance to transform into a journey of self-discovery and found a lighter space within yourself? Being ready to accept life doesn't mean conforming. It's a step toward emotional freedom. Don't think your story is less valuable because of your scars. Wounds are not just marks, they are passages into a place of growth. In every limitation, there's a lesson. In every pain, an opportunity for rebirth. So today, when you wake up, why not look at your limitations with fresh eyes? See them as friends that bring valuable lessons. Each one tells a story that deserves to be heard. Each one opens a door to new perceptions. In this way, you're not only moving toward accepting your reality, you're creating space for a regenerating silence. This silence isn't empty. It's a forge that shapes your peace along the way. As you pause and listen, you can hear the truths that reside within you. You only need to make space for them. And then you discover, acceptance is the first step toward freedom. When you say goodbye to something, you feel a void around you. That absence weighs heavy, yet it's also a space where new possibilities can blossom. What are you holding on to? Within that weight might lie the answer you're seeking. Today, I invite you to let go. The practice of detachment is not a denial of life, but an act of courage. Releasing the ties that bind you to the past is like planting seeds in fertile soil, ready to sprout under the light of the new. You begin to notice that each fallen leaf is an opportunity. But what if you're afraid to let go? What if the pain of parting prevents you from experiencing the freedom that follows? I imagine you felt this before. That tension in your chest, the sense of loneliness even when surrounded by others. That's the pain of control, of attachment. You believe that by holding tight, you are protected. But the truth is, true protection comes from letting go. This release leads you on a journey of transformation, perhaps even more beautiful than what you had originally planned. Each act of letting go is a choice for the unknown. Remember, by opening your hand, you don't lose, you gain. What will you let go of today? the need for approval, the fear of being yourself. These burdens are not your truths. They are fragments of a shadow that you no longer need to carry. By releasing them, you draw closer to your essence. A new path reveals itself, a path that is lighter, more authentic. The truth you may have never heard is that there is no failure in allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Every day, life offers you a chance to be reborn. Look within and feel that space. The silence that flows through you can be your greatest wisdom. A bearer of peace, it awaits your respect. Today, as you wake up, remember, I am capable. You are capable of facing your fears and allowing transformation to begin. And in that movement, each step can become a celebration of life, because what comes after the act of letting go? That can be simply incredible. So breathe deeply and know that with each breath, new seeds are germinating. If this message resonates deeply with you, share it. A single word can be the light someone needs. If the connection was genuine, write in the comments, I choose to be reborn. And in doing so, you're not only making a choice for your life, you're inviting the awakening of other souls. There's a silent power in this act. So, my friend, may each seed you plant today bloom in your heart. And may this path, though sometimes solitary, always lead you back to yourself.